Hey there, Cerise here. Thank you for joining me underneath the mango tree with true stories from Sosua. Guys, I have to tell you, this story has been sent to me from a woman who is telling on her sister, but of course, like always, I'm keeping the names confidential, so she doesn't have any fear about it. She just really wants to get it out there about a story that she's held underneath her skin for a long time. So let's move forward, guys. If you have any stories you want to share with me, please go ahead. I'm confidential. I will not say your name. I will not say where you're from or where the story has taken place. And you can email me at cerisefairfax@gmail.com. That's CeriseFairfax at gmail.com, just like my YouTube channel name. So you might hear a little bit of lightning in the background, a little bit. You might hear a little bit of thunder as it's lightning a little bit, but it's still a beautiful day right here in North Coast Dominican Republic. Okay, so a young woman sent me this story, and she said, "Cerise, I just need to get this off my chest." So her sister is a prostitute, but an undercover prostitute. So she works in a store in the Dominican Republic, and she also works in a bar in the Dominican Republic. So she has two jobs and she's holding it down, and she takes very good care of herself. And this is the thing, she has five different boyfriends. All of these boyfriends, two of them know each other. All of these boyfriends give her all types of gifts. They send her purses, they send her perfume. When they come down here, they bring her perfume and gifts and just beautiful, beautiful things for her and her family. The sister that sent me the story, she said that she has a real Louis purse, like authentic everything, flip flops, Coach flip flops, everything. And she says everything is authentic. And her sister's boyfriends always bring things down. So she said now that the sister has no children at all, but the sister has pretended to be pregnant. How? Like, she's pretended to be pregnant for these men, and the men do not take DNA tests. So when they get down here, they think that one kid, like she's never had any kids. She's pretended to be pregnant, but she uses her older sister. There's more sisters in the family. The one that wrote me is the youngest sister. Then you have the medium sister, like the middle-aged sister. And then you have the older sister. So the older sister has a child, and the middle child will quite often tell her boyfriends that that's their kid. You get what I mean? So she will always, and if it's not her older child's children, it's her friend's child. And she'll say, "Oh, I'm pregnant." And she'll send the guy pictures. Now, the guy might just come down here once a year, okay, because he can't get a lot of vacation time. So when he comes down here, he spends like a month with her and then goes back home. Sometimes just 2 weeks and goes back home. Is it possible for him to have gotten her pregnant? Absolutely. If he doesn't see her for another year, is it quite possible that he could miss the entire pregnancy? Absolutely. So this is what she was doing. She would know that the man's not going to come back. He's not going to send for her, because how can she go all the way to wherever he's from, pregnant, without the proper papers and everything? And then obviously, if he's a real hard worker and he can't get the time off to get to the Dominican Republic, he's just going to trust that the woman that he loves is being honest. So that's what she would do, is pretend she's pregnant. And she's done this time and time and time and time again. When the men start to ask about pictures for their kids, of their kids and everything, she always has pictures right there. She always has pictures, because either she's always with the family, right? Because it's either a kid from her family or her friend or something. So she always has ample supply of pictures, always, 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 and everybody knows what she's doing in her family. But her sister didn't like it, because one of the men that, okay, so two of the guys that she is dating, two of them are friends. One of the guys found out, and he just couldn't handle it. and he went off the deep end and the dark end, and he ended up slicing himself. He ended up hurting himself in attempts to try to get her attention. But she said to him, "You can't do that. Like, you're gone throughout the entire year." And then he's like, "Well, whose baby is it? Whose baby? Who are you pregnant for?" And she's like, "I wasn't even pregnant in the first place." And she was like being very, very honest with him. So he ended up just disappearing, never being seen again. Um, and he left the country. He went back to where he came from. I'm not going to say where he came from, just to be confidential. But when he did get home, how they know he got home is he cut off everything that he ever given her, a credit card. He also made sure that he stopped paying her rent at the place she was at. But here, he wasn't even paying it. He came to find out that he wasn't even paying the rent. Somebody else was paying it. And she was just pocketing that money that he was sending for the rent. And he just found out a lot of things. And he kept calling the little sister, who was the one that left the email for me. And he kept asking her and trying to appeal to her. He's like, "I know you're a good person. Can you please just tell me what happened, what went on? Like, did your sister really love me? Or was she just playing me the whole entire time? I just need to know for my own sanity." And, the little sister never, ever answered him until she messaged me. And she said, "I just want some advice. You're a soul coach and you give people advice. And I just don't know what to do. I don't want to go against my sister. But at the same time, I want to give this guy an explanation on what happened so he can be rested." And so, I I had to make the call, and in my own opinion, I said, he's a big man, he's older than you, and he knows the risks of coming here and dating women that might have many men. He knows he's gone for the entire year. He's run a risk. Every single time he gets re-involved, he runs a risk of being hurt. And not because the woman is malicious, but because she's also waiting on this side. Yeah, he's sending her money. Yes, he's taking care of her and he's buying her gifts, and he's coming down here with suitcases full of wonderful, material items. But she's still not seeing him for a year, and there could be the cuddling that she's missing, and then she meets someone else. And let's face it, he might be so good to her, so wonderful to her. But how does she know if she's not putting her life on hold for him? Because he might decide not to move to the Dominican Republic. He might find a woman that makes mega money, mega millions a year, a lot of money in the year. He might find someone who's more compatible to his standard of living. And what woman wouldn't think that lives here? What woman wouldn't? A Dominican woman, Haitian woman, even an expat like myself, if I was to ever date, let's say, an American, once he goes back home, obviously in my mind, I would often wonder, is he dating anyone while he's back in America? You know what I mean? So I can see where that woman's mind is as well, because she can't put all her eggs in one basket, so to speak, especially if she wants to, clean her life up or better her life. So she just told him straight, like, she wasn't even pregnant. She just came right out and told him the truth and said, "Look, she can't put her life on hold for him, blah, 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 blah." Anyway, he didn't ever speak to her again, and that's when he had contacted the sister. And I said to the sister, you don't need to give him any deeper details into the relationship. He should know better than the little sister. Why is she going to share information about the finer, intimate details when he should know more than her? He's the one that shared time with her sister, not with the younger sister, right? So I told her, mind your business. I understand that you have a very good heart, and I understand that you're very kind and you want the man to have some kind of peace. But I think he'll have peace just knowing that he doesn't have to deal with that woman for the rest of his life. And I think he'll have peace knowing that, no matter where you go in the world, you got to be careful of people everywhere, always doing something, right? And that's that. And especially in a country where women are here waiting for a man to come back, and it might be difficult because she might not be able to take care of herself here, you know? And if her only form of income is prostitution, or, you know, something that's has to do with men, like working in a bar or even serving, chances are she's going to meet somebody who is very suitable for her for the moment. Chiquito is like going off at the gate. So I'm going to let this story fly, guys. You guys can let me know what you think. I mean, some of you might think that she should be totally honest with the man and tell, like, the sister, and should be like, yes, you know, my sister did love you, but my sister was very desperate to get out and get a better life, blah, 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 blah. But, you know, it is what it is. I think common sense is what it is. Logic is logic. And the man's a big grown man. He's a lot older than the younger sister. So the younger sister, she has a beautiful heart, and she will be blessed for that. She will be blessed for the intentions. That's what we say, good intentions are something, right? But it's not necessary for her to dig up those wounds, and it's not necessary for her to, you know, go against her sister. She should just keep the peace and let her sister deal with things, and let that man deal with things as well. And yeah, so that's the story today, guys. Thank you so much for joining me. And if you are in a situation where you feel like you're being taken advantage of, just make sure you use your wits, and just make sure you also use common sense. A lot of women, sometimes they're just not trusting you. When you are back at your country, they don't know if you're married there, they don't know if you're lying to them there while you're there. They may feel that you forgot about them while you're gone, you know. So let's look at both sides of the coin all the time, but let's always be mindful of who we're with and who we trust. Alrighty, guys, thank you so much for joining me, Cerise Fairfax from CeriseFairfax.com. Thank you for subscribing. Thank you so much for liking this video and for sharing it. Alrighty, guys, blesses.